All right, we're good.
In what ways do you think that, like when you watch tape of Amari, in what areas do you think he's grown or improved as opposed to the last couple of years? Is there any aspects of his game?
Yeah, certainly his play strength. There's been a lot made about him being a little bit bigger and stronger, and you certainly see that. It's harder for defenders to knock him off his route. He gets his route depth more consistently, and his play speed has been really impressive for a guy that didn't get a lot of practice. So we were pretty pleased with what we saw the other night.
Would you see opponents try to be physical with him and try to, because he's such a precise route runner? Is that something that you would see defenses do to him a lot?
Yeah, I think you see that with any elite receiver. In my experiences with the guys like Calvin Johnson and Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and Randy Moss, those guys, they try to disrupt them at the line of scrimmage, so it throws you off timing. And that's certainly something that we were experiencing with Amari. So it's good to see him a little bit stronger and more physical.
You mentioned a number of wide receivers there. One wide receiver you didn't coach, but you do have a close relationship with is Larry Fitzgerald.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to see him after the game on a couple Saturdays ago.
Yeah.
I know it goes back a ways, your two relationship. Can you just detail it back to Minnesota and just how it's come to evolve as you both have kind of grown into the league?
Yeah, us Minnesota guys stick together, and I've seen Larry since he was a real young man. As I was starting my internships with the Vikings, he was a ball boy with the Vikings, and just watched his work ethic then. And I knew that he had great things ahead of him because of how important the details were to him back then. I mean, nothing was beneath him. He'd be folding towels or picking up dirty laundry, and he was just happy to have an opportunity to be around, some of the game's greats, the Chris Carters and Randy Mosses, and, picking their brains. Larry's a great guy. He's just a wonderful person, and it's been really fun to stay in touch with him over the years.
You seem like somebody who values your relationships with players a lot, and the way Derek describes you and the way Larry describes you and other people. How important for you, obviously the X's and O's aspect of coaching, so much of that is what you do, but the relationship side, is that what you find to be most rewarding?
Yeah, I think that's how I've always lived my life, is investing in relationships with those around me. And, I think that when you do that, you build a trust with people and accountability with people that helps you become the best version of yourself, whether it's in life or in football, And so what I'm trying to do with my players is give them a voice, give them a platform to be able to share with me what they like and don't like, or things that they might be struggling with, or things that they want to see more of. And when you do that, you breed this culture of accountability where instead of looking for an excuse, guys are looking for a way to get better themselves. And I hold myself to that standard. So I think the only way you can accurately do that is by having genuine relationships with people and investing in those people. And that's how I've always tried to live my life.
As a quick follow to that, Jameis, you had your hand on his shoulder, his back, his jersey during that anthem.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a bit of a testament to that relationship that you're cultivating with players. It's something that goes beyond football, that moment that you had with him. How much of that was something that you guys discussed beforehand? Was there something you just felt like you needed to do in that moment? And maybe can you explain a little bit in terms of why that was important for you to do?
Yeah, you know what? It was not planned at all. I kind of chuckled in talking with Mays about it afterwards. I think I surprised him a little bit. But no, I knew some other guys were planning on showing their unity. It certainly wasn't a protest or statement or anything like that. It was kind of a reaction myself to seeing what we have going on this team is such a great unity and a team chemistry that when you see other guys like Derek and Khalil doing it, I looked over and there was Mays, a guy that works his tail off for us, gets no credit from anybody, shows up every day, works his tail off, does anything we ask him to do, and beyond that is a great person. And so I just walked over and put my hand on him. It wasn't anything more than showing that he's a guy I love.
2 games in, 2 games to go. How would you assess the backup quarterback? There's competition now. Connor Cook gained a little bit the other night of the year.
Yeah, it's a great competition. The cool thing is both those guys have approached it with such a great attitude, and they've both taken strides, and at times one guy's taken a bigger stride than the other, but they both have progressed so much in this offseason, in this camp. It's going to be fun to see how it goes down the stretch here.
It seemed like for the first early on in camp that PJ was getting a lot of the second team reps. At least it appeared that way to us watching practice. Was Connor frustrated during that time, or did he just keep his nose to the grindstone and keep going? Or?
Well, he's a great competitor, so I don't know if frustrated is the right word, but unsatisfied certainly could apply. And, Connor's worked very, very hard, and he wants to win that job. And I think that, it's necessary to say that it was EJ's performance that earned those reps, not anything Connor wasn't doing, So EJ was told early, or both of them were told early, you will get the reps that you earn. And EJ was having a great camp, and so he kind of continued to earn those 2 reps. But it's still an open competition, and we're going to let the best man win it.
Talked a lot about tight ends so far in camp, but through 2 games, what have you seen them be able to unlock for this offense?
Well, we talked the first time I stood at this podium, we said we needed to attack the field vertically in the seams and talked about the addition of Jared. And I think what you've seen from the whole tight end group is understanding their role a little bit better in the passing game. And we'll create some matchups with those guys, and when we have them, we'll take advantage of them. But those guys work so hard, not just in the pass game, but in the run game and in protections, that they're really starting to round themselves out as a strength of this team.
Specifically in the pass game, a lot of coaches have talked about having tight ends being able to create mismatches on the field that you just aren't able to do on the outside. Is that something that you're going to escalate more and more as the preseason goes on, getting ready for the season?
Yeah, you tend to keep some things vested in the preseason, and we've been working on some things in practice that we're excited about with the tight ends, but I'm going to continue to give them opportunities to make plays throughout the course of this remaining 2 games, and we'll see what they got.
Where's Gabe Holmes at in his development?
Gabe's coming along. Gabe's doing a nice job coming back, obviously, from the injury last year, and getting his strength back, and he's a hard worker. He's a smart kid. All those guys, all those young tight ends, he and Ryan O'Malley and Farrow, and Clive, and all of them are developing and doing a really, really nice job.
Do you have a pretty clear idea in your mind on how you want to rotate and deploy your running backs, or is that evolving still?
I think that falls into the preseason theory that we were just discussing with the tight ends. There will be things during the season that we ask specific backs to do. Right now, we're just calling the offense and figuring out what guys' strengths and weaknesses are. So right now, no, there's no plan to who's playing what reps and specific downs. But during the season, I'm sure we'll get a little bit more specific.
Someone like Marshawn, veteran at his position, how much work does he need in preseason games and even out here on the practice field?
Well, he works hard on the practice field, so we know what he is as a gamer. He's got tape to prove that. He doesn't need to prove too much to me from a game standpoint. Where I think he's still, putting in his work is getting comfortable in the system and understanding the offense and setting up blocks a little bit different way than he has in the past. And he's getting plenty of work with that in practice.
Sure, when you came here, you heard about Crabtree's hands. What were your impressions so far? I think that's surprised you, or you didn't expect from Crab?
Well, I knew, from watching him in college and seeing him go, as highly drafted as he was, that he was a talented receiver. But, man, you watch him make some catches in practice, and you just think, I'd love to have that skill. He's pretty incredible catching the football.
What was your assessment of the running backs and pass protection in that game on Saturday?
I think it's an ever-evolving process. We're going to give guys the opportunity to go out and show that they'll stick their face in there with the linebacker and protect the quarterback. Obviously, that's something that we've done well here in the past. And so I think it's an ever-evolving process with those guys. But for the most part, I thought they did a nice job. They were completely assignment sound, and I think that technique continues to develop in the preseason. It's one thing to do it in practice when there's just 2 cones out there as the tackles. It's a whole other thing to do it when you got linemen to sort your way through and so on. So.
Last one, guys.
When you're trying to end up with your right tackle and you haven't seen Marshall on the right yet much at all, if at all, how does that impact your choice of who you're going to select on the right side? You haven't seen a lot of tape of Marshall in the system doing that.
Yeah, he's a true pro, though, and we saw a good amount of him in the offseason, even though we were in pajamas out there. We saw him at right tackle in the offseason, and we trust his preparation, his ability, and his ability to transfer technique from the left to the right. So that's going to be a fluid situation until we get to Tennessee, and it may still remain fluid there. Good?
Is Clichy absolutely solidified at guard where he's kicked outside before in his career? Is that something that at all is possibility, or you guys are pretty set with him where he is?
I'll tell you this. I'll answer it this way. I love what he's doing at left guard. How about that? All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
I would too.